Good evening, everybody. Welcome to week 11. Can you believe it? Here talking SEC. Kenneth here from Crunch Time Sports Advantage Network. Always a pleasure and privilege to be with you. So, without any further ado, let's get it. Hey guys, welcome back to week 11 of Talking SEC. Once again, Kenneth here from the Crunch Time Sports Advantage Network on the Voice of College Football with Mark Rogers TV. Guys, we got a couple of games still in action as Ole Miss and Texas A&M just coming out of the halftime break. Ole Miss up 15 to nothing. Guys, I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about this coaching job with Lane Kiffin here. Um, I can't even begin to tell you how disappointed I am in what I've seen from Lane Kiffin here since taking over as the head coach of Ole Miss. Arkansas, LSU, that game's about to go to half. LSU up 10-3. Vanderbilt, Kentucky. Kentucky is rolling 31-3. Got some earlier action. This will probably be the only time I mention this ball game. Alabama 59, New Mexico State 3. Alabama scores 59 consecutive points after New Mexico State kicks a long field goal. Oh my goodness. The Auburn Tigers blew a lead. We got 2 hours to talk about that tonight. Mississippi State comes back, wins 43-34. Will Rogers got smoking hot in that ball game, threw a school record 6 touchdowns in that ball game. Missouri holds on to beat South Carolina 31-28. But the game that we're going to talk about quite a bit, and I'm going to go ahead and put the comments up. Jet, my friend, always glad to have you in. Let's get it. I can't argue with a single thing that Jet has said, and I had the pleasure of talking with several former players. Had the opportunity to talk to a lot of fans over the past, I don't know, eight hours or so. To say that Mullen has quit on this team would be an understatement. Would be an absolute understatement. And we saw this halfway through the second quarter of that Georgia game. I said on this show, Dan Mullen did not want to play Anthony Richardson. Emory Jones was his guy. I don't know if he got pressure from within the complex or was just sick and tired of hearing about it. I think he set Anthony Richardson up to fail by the way that he coached that game. And I think Dan Mullen has checked out as the head coach of the Florida Gators. And this is extremely problematic for a proud program like the University of Florida. Say what you want to about Will Muschamp, Ron Zook, Jim McElwain. None of those coaches ever quit. And this is not the first time Dan Mullen has quit as the head coach of Florida. Go back to the LSU game last year in the Swamp. LSU was just coming off a country butt whooping by the University of Alabama in Baton Rouge. They go to Gainesville with, I think, as few of scholarship players that you could possibly have during COVID and still play the game. Derek Stingley did not play in the game. And Florida gets beat into a pulp. Not based on the final score. The fact that that game shouldn't have been close to begin with. Guys, I'm gonna give you this number. In the history of the Florida Gator program, never before had they given up 42 points in the first half of a ball game. Never before had the Florida Gators given up that many points in a ball game. Jet, I saw the comments. I wish I could post them. But Anthony Richardson all but says he's out at the end of the year. Homegrown Cowboy, I'll get to you. How you doing, my friend? Alabama's got more than running back problems. I'm waiting to hear how bad Roydell injuries are. I'm hoping to have an update before the end of this show. But if not, I'll try to post it on Twitter as soon as I do hear something. I'll get to Alabama here in a minute. Dan Mullen, man. Scott Strickland needs to hold a press conference. Yeah, Jet. Give me just a second. I'll see if I can find that comment. I think one of my bear with me here because I got it here. Yeah. So the reporter you were telling me about a couple of weeks ago, Nick, posted this comment from Anthony Richardson, 3:39 p.m. this afternoon. Anthony Richardson asked about fans worrying that he might transfer or leave. His quote, and this is Anthony Richardson quote, "I can't really speak on that. Time is the only thing that will tell. Right now, I am a Gator." Those are the comments from Anthony Richardson per your reporter that you turned me on to, Nick. Like I said, haven't had a chance to get in touch with him yet, but I can tell you he's not the only person that I've gotten that quote from. So I would say this, Jet, and this is just me speculating, but if Dan Mullen is the head coach of the Florida Gators, I think Anthony Richardson is gone. That's my personal opinion. That's not from a source. That is just me reading this situation. And another source with the Gators told me that the family of Anthony Richardson is so, and I won't use the um, exact language, was so bleeping ticked off at Dan Mullen that if it wasn't for Anthony Richardson being a hometown kid, he would have left the program after the Georgia game. Yes, sir. Um, I wish I had an answer for you. I I honestly said that he should have been fired two was it two and a half 2 weeks ago after that Georgia game. Certainly should have been fired after last week in South Carolina. Flu bug or no flu bug, um, that was embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Got a chance to watch that Georgia Tennessee game. Um, Not the entire game, but a couple of quarters of it. This Georgia team is good. This Georgia team can be beat. And we're and I'll take you guys behind the curtain just a little bit, and I'll pop that up here in just a second. Um, this was the first game in our company's history, the Georgia Tennessee game, where our entire team were we were charting different things about this ball game, trying to evaluate Georgia. And from some of the key indicators that we hit on in this ball game, for everybody who thinks it's a foregone conclusion that Georgia's going to win the national championship, it is not. Um, I'm going to give you a couple of stats here on the Tennessee Georgia game. Tennessee had 22 first downs in the ball game, was 9 for 20 on third down. Tennessee had 30 for they were 30 for 48, 332 yards passing in that ball game. Now the two turnovers were absolutely backbreaking. 6 penalties were backbreaking. If Georgia plays like this in the SEC championship game, or certainly the college football playoffs, Georgia's not winning the national championship. Jet, I gotta tell you, let me say this, and thank you guys all for being in the chat tonight. Everybody watching, please feel free to drop your comments, questions. I will answer as much as I possibly can. I'm going to reach out to 4 sources of mine over the next week or two before the SEC championship game. Jet, I'm going to take a snippet of this and I'm going to send that. I'm going to send that to them and see what kind of response I get. LSU really needs. Okay, UConn. I tell you what, I will say this. Do you think LSU is missing their former defensive coordinator, Dave Aranda? And because Oklahoma will be in the SEC here in a couple of years, I can bring this in. You want to talk about playing chess versus checkers? Dave Aranda put on a coaching show against Oklahoma today. Put on a show. Oklahoma is now officially out of the college football playoff race. Hey, homegrown, Jet, Anthony Richardson, their quarterback, yeah. Jet, some distractions at Georgia, most certainly, and guys, because of the serious nature of it, I don't want to speculate one way or the other. But one of the star players there has been accused of about as serious of an offense you can be dealt with, and I will say this, Dan. I want to let this play out before I weigh in on it, but hopefully the truth will come out. Whatever that truth may be, whatever that truth may be. Hey guys, we got a new score there in Oxford, Mississippi. Texas A&M not able to get a touchdown inside the red zone. Did get a field goal. New score. Not quite halfway through the third quarter, but Ole Miss is up 15-3. Guys, this game should not even be close at this point. And it speaks to the horrible coaching job Lane Kiffin is doing right now. And don't let that 7-2 record fool you. My history with this coach there at Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, goes back almost 2 decades. When Lane first took over as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, it's not good what I'm seeing with this Ole Miss team. Guys, I'm gonna give you some insight on how we break down games and not just looking at particular stats. The reason why this Ole Miss team under Lane Kiffin, head coach Jeff Lebby as the offensive coordinator, will never be a championship level team. And yes, I'm using the word never, because what we're seeing right now is a coach who is more concerned about putting up freaking stats than winning ball games. There's no analytic chart that tells you to coach this badly. And this is coming from a guy who does analytics for a living. What Lane Kiffin is doing is not analytics. It's borderline stupid. Ole Miss is 3 for 10 on third down. And the reason why they're so bad on third down is because they're so bad on first and second down. And that's all due to play calling. Ole Miss has 400 yards of total offense in this ball game. Texas A&M has 132 yards. And I like Lane, but this is embarrassing. I mean, you're wasting the best quarterback that Ole Miss has had since Eli Manning graduated. Oh boy. Jet, I'm gonna post that. I'm glad you put that in the chat there. So in the span of a couple of weeks, really, after Dan Mullen's ill-timed comment about recruiting, he's lost 3 high-profile recruits. 2 of them went to the University of Georgia. Hey, Dan, you still don't think that recruiting matters? Man, that's bad. Texas A&M guys got the ball back, and they are already across midfield. Ball game right here. 8 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. If A&M scores right here and scores a touchdown, we might be putting this baby to bed in Oxford, Mississippi really early. Wow. Yeah. So, guys, tell you what, since we don't have a lot of great games in play, that LSU Arkansas game just getting underway in the third quarter. Garrett Nussmeier, that's interesting at LSU. I'll go with that. So, guys, any questions you got for me tonight? Please put them in the chat. Anything that you want to discuss tonight, let's go, because I can tell you that Florida conversation could easily dominate all night long. But if there's anything that you guys want to ask about that I can't answer, believe me, I will be more than happy to. Okay, so right now, live look in. A&M has the ball at the Ole Miss 30, 1st and 10. This is what happens when you don't put teams away, man. Say what you want about Jimbo Fisher. Right now, this guy is pushing all the right buttons with his team. And like I said, there's no reason that Ole Miss should not be up by 3 touchdowns in this ball game right now. Instead, they're clinging to a 12-point lead. And now you're starting to see that Texas A&M run game just touchdown. New score, guys. 24-yard touchdown run by Devon Achane. A&M within one score. And Jet, it's not just that Jimbo made some great halftime adjustments. It's the fact that Lane Kiffin and Jeff Lebby running this hurry up offense instead of making sure that they get points. A&M 10, Ole Miss 15. And guys, that Texas A&M ground game that I talked about on our podcast, we called it the Texas two-step. A&M is for real. And they have got to be kicking themselves in the backside because if they don't lose that game to Arkansas, I believe, A&M would be going to the SEC championship game instead of Alabama. So Jimbo has really got to be kicking himself for that. But credit Jimbo for not losing focus, getting that big win at home versus Alabama, and they have not stopped rolling since. So Jimbo is making a late run for SEC Coach of the Year. I mean, we thought it was going to be Mark Stoops in a runaway. Kirby Smart will probably win it, but I got to tell you, Jimbo Fisher's probably going to get my vote. Guys, Kentucky 31-11. That game's going into the fourth quarter here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. So I got to say, that job that we're seeing, I can tell you, embarrassed has been a word that I've heard quite a bit. They're absolutely embarrassed. And this was earlier this week, so this was after the South Carolina game. I can't imagine what the conversation is going to be like tomorrow. I can't even imagine what that conversation is going to be like. But the comment that I've been hearing from a lot of from some of the guys that I know at the University of Florida that played there, they're absolutely embarrassed by what they're watching right now. Tell you what, Jet, give me just a second. Let me see if I can pull up the comments that not only that I got, but some of my guys over at The Athletic. I would definitely give them a shout out here. I'm trying to scroll and find this real quick because this was earlier this week. Okay, so Jet, here's some of the comments. Florida is a finesse team. Georgia wants to rip your heads off. Kentucky will play hard. This cannot be said about the University of Florida as long as Dan Mullen is the head coach. That's one comment. Florida's best NFL prospect, defensive line senior Zach Carter, a solid player, would not be drafted before the third or fourth round. And I can tell you the guy that made that comment, he is as plugged in with the NFL as anybody. Hey, Da Vinci, I'm gonna post that here in just a second. Give me just a moment. Another comment, and this is talking about the Florida talent right now. Florida does not have anybody that is a game wrecker. They're not as talented as we thought they were going to be. And this is from an assistant coach that played the University of Florida this year making that comment. Now, Jeff, final thought. And this was after the news broke that Anthony Richardson hurt his knee dancing at the hotel. Now, this is from a text message, so I can't divulge too much of it, but here's what one former player said. He better be glad that I'm not on this team right now because I would have broke his leg. So that's just some of the comments that I got this week. Da Vinci, glad to have you in, my friend. So all of my Florida fans that are listening and watching this right now, you tell me, should there be a press conference tomorrow morning announcing Dan Mullen has been fired? Because I looked this up. His buyout does not change whether he's fired this year or next year. It's still going to be $12 million. So you're not going to save any money by bringing him back like USC did with Clay Helton. And I'm gonna see if I can't pull up the Florida schedule for 2020 22 here. Okay, so Florida's schedule starting the season off next year. Here are your 4 September games. Versus Utah, Kentucky, South Florida, and at Tennessee. I'm just telling you right now, Florida could start 1-3 next year. You just said it. Just said it. Absolutely. Excellent point there, man. So, hey guys, hometown Cowboy. Um, like I said, I hope to have that injury update from um, my sources there in Tuscaloosa. I think Nick Saban is going to give a brief update. If I'm able to get that before we go off the air tonight, I would definitely post that. But if not, like I said, guys, give us a follow on Twitter at CrunchTime VIP. I will certainly put that up as soon as I have it. Okay, so here's the rest of Florida's schedule. Another home game with Eastern Washington, Missouri, LSU, get the bye October 22nd, at A&M, South Carolina, at Vandy, and at FSU. I know it's early, but depending on who the LSU head coach is, Florida could lose 6 games next year. Wow. Man, that is not good. That's a great point. And it's not like Florida could not raise the money. Okay. Florida has enough boosters to where they could raise that money before 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. And Jet, you're right. We mentioned that on one of the shows a couple of weeks ago. That now this is assuming that it is just a straight buyout or um, termination without the show cause. But you guys are explaining that fantastic in the chat. So um, I will not jump in on that. But right, it would be 66 million within the first 60 days, and then monthly installments over the next 6 years. And Jet, let me ask you this: what assistant coach is coming to Florida knowing that Dan Mullen, Dan Mullen could be fired halfway through the season? I can tell you it is going to be next to impossible to find a defensive coordinator. And honestly, that's why he couldn't get rid of Grantham this coming into this year. Nobody was going to take the job knowing that Dan Mullen had 1 foot out the door. So that's going to be fascinating to watch there. Texas A&M has the ball back at their own 20-yard line. We're going to see if they convert it here. Okay, A&M did not get the first down, so they're going to punt. Good job there by the Ole Miss defense to fill the gaps there and stop Spiller before he could get up to speed there. Guys, while and I'll pop back in here with that ball game, but I got to talk about this Auburn um, Mississippi State game, because if you didn't watch that game this morning, this game was Auburn was up at the half, I believe, 28-10. Mississippi State scores a touchdown right before the half to make it 28-10. They proceed to score the next 40 points before Auburn gets a late touchdown, fails on the 2-point conversion. Will Rogers, at one point in this game, looked like a deer in headlights. Will Rogers ended that game 44 for 55, 415 yards, 6 passing touchdowns. Bo Nix was not in full effect. 27 for 41, 377, 2 touchdowns, but did not get anything done after the second quarter. And guys, we're coming to the end of the third quarter here with Ole Miss has the ball at the 50-yard line, trying to go tempo. Not going to get another playoff. We go into the fourth quarter. Ole Miss 15, Texas A&M 10. Kate York for LSU just missed a 55-yard field goal. Arkansas has the ball up around their 40-yard line, halfway through the third quarter there. So we'll keep an eye on that ball game. And I think we're getting close to that game between Kentucky and Vanderbilt being all but over, as Vandy just got a score, missed the 2-point conversion. That score is 34-17. About 7 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter there. Yeah, thanks for that update. I appreciate it. Jet, kind of what we saw in the game here with Ole Miss and A&M. If you let a Mike Leach team that's going to throw the ball anywhere between 85 and 90% of the time, if you don't put them away, that passing game is good enough to where they can score in bunches, and just really a bad job there by Auburn in that ball game. You had complete control of that ball game. Matter of fact, let me see if I can't pull up the rush attempts in that contest there. So yeah, Auburn only ran the ball 27 times in that ball game. When you're up that margin in the first half, Auburn should have had double the rush attempts in this ball game. They should have been up in the mid 40s. And why is Bo Nix throwing the ball 43 times? That's a bad coaching job by Brian Hartson. I mean, just you're setting Bo Nix up the field if you're going to have him throw the ball 40 times. Bo Nix is not the kind of quarterback I want to ever see throw the ball 40 times, especially when I got a 28-10 halftime lead. Complete control of the ball game. So that's something that Brian Hartson is going to have to figure out because they have a very tough ball game, and I'm talking about Auburn next week against South Carolina. And I believe that ball game is in Columbia next week. Rob, there's a lot of things that I am Mike Leach does not present any kind of problem for any team in the SEC because Mike Leach is not a good coach. Let me just say that. Mike Leach will win a game that he shouldn't win and then turn around and lose 3 games that he should win. So, no, Mike Leach is not going to be problematic in the SEC for the next 10 weeks or 10 years. Mike Leach will be lucky if he's the head coach. Thanks, Salty Dog. Yeah, I just saw that Arkansas taking advantage of that long field goal attempt, able to get a touchdown here. That game is tied 10-10. And Salty Dog, I don't know if you saw the or heard the comments that I said about Georgia earlier, but uh, hey Rob, like I said, no disrespect, but just my opinion on that. I've seen Mike Leach coach for over almost 20 years now. Mike Leach could not win in the Big 12 when Texas was down, when OU was um, okay. Could not win the Pac 12 North. And this was before Oregon really got rolling. And now he's in the hardest division in all of college football. Yeah, I don't give my man much of a chance to be anything other than a pest at Mississippi State. I mean, Jet, I cannot argue that point. Absolutely can't argue that point. Scott Strickland, the AD for Florida, he may have to do a I gotta save my job kind of deal and go ahead and bite the bullet and fire Dan right now. Okay, Ole Miss has the ball right outside the red zone here. third down. And guys, if you're watching this game with Ole Miss right now, okay, did not convert on third down, 4th and 3. If Lane Kiffin doesn't kick this field goal, guys, I may go nuclear here. Okay, so Ole Miss is at least trying a 40-yard field goal here to go up. Oh, they run a fake. They run a fake field goal. And they don't get the first down. Wait a minute. Hold on, let me see. They did not get the. Lane Kiffin, guys, I want you to listen to the scenario. They are up 15-10. And this idiot runs a fake field goal on a makeable 40-yard kick. Now, if you don't trust your field goal kicker to make a 40-yard kick, then one, he shouldn't be on scholarship, and two, you shouldn't be a head coach. But he clearly doesn't get it. I mean, he's not even. My goodness grief, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is trying to pull a Dan Mullen from the Georgia game. That is just. This is why you're Lane Kiffin. I'm sorry, man. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. Dumb play call. Dumb decision. And now A&M one play and they're already up by midfield. And homegrown, here's the thing. I could get some of the fourth down decisions by Lane. Some of them were absolutely boneheaded. And there's a fine line between arrogance and stupidity. A&M is finna win this ball game. And guys, I'm saying this with 13 minutes left to go in the ball game, and A&M is losing. A&M already has the ball at the 35-yard line of Ole Miss, 2 plays. Touchdown. Oh, he dropped it. Demas should have had a touchdown. He dropped it. And if it sounds like I'm rooting against Ole Miss, believe me, that's not the case. I just cannot stand stupid coaches doing stupid things. We saw it with Dan Mullen a couple of weeks ago. We're seeing it here tonight with Ole Miss. Coaching incompetence, man. I can't stand it. I honestly cannot stand coaching incompetence. You're paid too much money to coach a game this badly. Jimbo Fisher takes a timeout here because he didn't have the play call he wanted. And if you don't have the play call you want, take the timeout, man. All right. Okay. I got to check that out here in a bit. But just, man, I can't even talk about this Lane Kiffin coaching job. I can't. Because it'll start to get personal if I continue. I have no idea how you can be a coach this long and forget that you're the head coach and turn everything over to Jeff Lebby and whatever kind of analytical department that you have there at Ole Miss. So tell you what, Lane Kiffin, and for everybody that's watching this that are Ole Miss fans, if Lane Kiffin needs a better analytical department, call me. Because what you're doing right now would get you fired at a big-time school. Ask Dan Mullen. My goodness. Hey, guys, we're here at the top of the hour. Going to do a quick reset here and be back for the final 58 minutes of the show. Don't go away. Hey guys, welcome back into the second hour of Talking SEC. Kenneth here from the Crunch Time Sports Advantage Network on the voice of college football here on Mark Rogers TV. Quick recap of all the action from earlier today. As you can tell from the chat, we've been talking a lot about that Florida Samford game. Florida wins 70-52. Guys, that ain't the story of the ball game. How bad that the Florida Gators looked, that has been the topic of conversation all night long. Missouri holds on to get a 3-point win at home versus South Carolina, 31-28. Mississippi State in the comeback of the year in the SEC, down 28-10 at half, outscores the Auburn Tigers in Auburn second half by a score of 33-6. Will Rogers, the performance of the day in the SEC so far, 44 for 55, 415 yards, a school record 6 passing touchdowns. Mississippi State gets it done 43-34, improving their record to 6-4, bowl eligible 4-3 in the SEC. Auburn falls to 6-4, 3-3 in the SEC. Going to be interesting to see who finished at the bottom of the SEC West this year, as Ole Miss is currently in a dogfight with Texas A&M. We'll give a recap of that game here in just a moment. Alabama 59-3, no comment. Georgia 41, Tennessee 17. Game a lot closer than what the final score dictates. Keep that in mind. Arkansas just grabs a lead here with a 27-yard field goal by Cam Little. Arkansas 13, LSU 10. LSU, Ed Orgeron, coaching his last time in Tiger Stadium as the head coach of the LSU Tigers. Kentucky about to seal their 7th win here, 34-17, as they are here in Nashville, Tennessee, taking on the Vanderbilt Commodores. That game with about 3 minutes left to go. Texas A&M inside the red zone. Looks like they're going to have to settle for a field goal here. Wait a minute. We may have a pass interference here on Ole Miss. Hold tight on that. Okay, no, it was a personal foul on Texas A&M. So going to push that field goal attempt back. So we are field goal try here by Ole Miss. Seth Small to get A&M within 2 in this ball game. And that field goal attempt is money. New score, 10 minutes, 19 seconds left to go. Ole Miss 15, A&M 13. So, guys, let's start setting up some of the matchups for next week, week 12, as we draw towards a close here in the SEC regular season. Time's not all set for these ball games yet, but here's what we got so far. Georgia will be playing Charleston Southern. That game will be at 11 a.m. Either on ESPN Plus or the SEC Network. Also at 11 a.m., Texas A&M versus Prairie View A&M, and Kentucky taking on New Mexico State. Yes, New Mexico State at 11 a.m. That game right now is set to be on the SEC Network. Mississippi State will play host to Tennessee State at 11 a.m. Jep, Da Vinci, guys, the Florida Gators, 5-5, travel to Columbia, Missouri to take on the Missouri Tigers. That game right now is set for 2 p.m. 3 p.m. Central Time. That game set to be on the SEC Network. Could you imagine if if Florida loses that ball game and then loses the season finale against Florida State and then go to a bowl game? Wow. 6 p.m. ESPN primetime game. Auburn will be taking on South Carolina. Auburn already bowl eligible, but if they're going to go over their win total, that is a must win next weekend against South Carolina. The team here at Crunch Time Sports Advantage will be very locked in on that ball game. Let's just say we're hoping for the Gamecocks in that one. Vanderbilt will be traveling to Ole Miss to play in a primetime matchup. That game on the SEC Network. We'll see how this game wraps up. The time for the Alabama-Arkansas game has not been determined yet. So, guys, that is the rundown of the Week 12 slate as it currently sits right now. And Hometown Cowboy, I don't know if you're still with me, but here's what I got so far. Per Coach Saban, Roydell will be out for a good while, aka Roydell is going to be out for the remaining part of the year. Will not be back. So that's what we have as far as Roydell. Will not know the full extent of punt returner and wide receiver JoJo Earl until further evaluation is done. So probably will not know anything until Sunday afternoon or Monday. And as far as safety, DeMarco Helms, just like JoJo Earl, further evaluations would need to be done based on how bad his injuries are. but do not expect to see JoJo Earl in the final two ball games. Uh, maybe could return for the SEC title game. That's what I'm hearing right now. So um, I don't have anything as far as Trey Sanders goes yet. Homegrown. Um, that I will probably not have before we go off the air tonight. Um, I'm going to put that in the group chat, guys. And you can see it scrolling across the timeline here. Give us a follow on Twitter at CrunchTime VIP. Um, we'll hope to have some more information for you on that. And one final thing, homegrown, the 5-star running back Cameron Wheaton, who hasn't played all year long, could be getting close to a go here. Okay, just got a text message about DeMarco. Uh, deep thigh bruise, could have gone back into the game um, if needed be. Coach Saban will probably make a determination on playing him against Arkansas um, once he sees him in practice this week. So that's the latest on that. Yes, Whedon is very good. Hearing some of the guys that he's being compared to, um, if he is ready to go, that could be a major shot in the arm for this Alabama run game, who quite honestly did not look good last weekend at all. So hopefully that injury report will kind of give you an idea there. And sure, Ole Miss, why not keep running inside trap? I mean, you've only ran it 50 times now. Yes, it is. Yep. Um, this game has been very physical. Um, and for what's at stake, that's what you would want it to be. A&M, if Alabama was to slip up in these last two games, A&M could go to the SEC championship game. Ole Miss is trying to finish with a record that would have them finishing second in the SEC West right now. So the kids are absolutely laying it out on the field here. Ole Miss 4th and 10. You don't think that field goal matters, Lane? Now you're setting up for a punt. Now, instead of being up where a field goal would not beat you, now with 7 minutes left to go, any score by A&M could absolutely beat you from here on out. That is right. So if Alabama was to lose either to Arkansas or Auburn, A&M would go to the SEC championship game because they have the tiebreaker, beating Alabama head to head. So yes, sir. And that's why I said earlier, A&M is kicking themselves for losing that Arkansas game because they wouldn't need Alabama to lose another game had they won that Arkansas game. A&M would right now be locked in to go to the SEC championship game. LSU just kicked a 45-yard field goal with about 11 minutes left to go. That game is tied 13-13. Jet, after watching Auburn play today, and I know that game is in Auburn, and homegrown Cowboy can tell you about the crazy things that happens to Alabama when they play in Auburn. But I honestly can't see Alabama losing to Arkansas or Auburn coming up. Sorry, guys. One of our team members checking in with another game that we're tracking. Saw that replay from Lane Kiffin going for it on fourth down, and it's going absolutely bonkers. So, Jet, you posed the question. So, let's talk about that while we got some time here. I got you guys for the next 38 minutes. Setting up right now a 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3 matchup in the SEC championship game. Here's what I've said about that. Alabama will not make the college football playoffs if they don't win these next 3 games. Alabama has to beat Arkansas, has to beat Auburn, and has to beat Georgia. A 2-loss Alabama should not make the playoffs. So, if Alabama upsets Georgia, and right now that would be an upset, Alabama would go in that final playoff ranking as the number 1 team in the country. Georgia would likely go in as the number 2 seed, and the rest of the college football playoffs would be played out at that point. I think we got an INT there by Ole Miss inside the red zone. Zach Calzada absolutely late on the pass, and Ole Miss has the ball. Kicking field goals, huh? Yeah, that was a great INT. It was also a bad throw. I mean, how you throw it. Wait a minute. I don't know if that's on the quarterback. I mean, yeah, it was late, but let me take a look at that last replay. Okay, yeah. I know if the wide receiver gets 2 hands on it, you're supposed to come down with it. But that one you're just supposed to stick right in the numbers. Oh my goodness, Ole Miss is breaking out the turnover chain. And once again, I'm going to be very critical of Lane Kiffin here. Instead of being up 5, where if you kick a field goal, you're now up 8. You kick a field goal here, well, don't need any of the rest of that statement. Snoop Conner just went in for a touchdown. Big time run there by Snoop Conner. May have just put this game away now. Yeah, Jet. There is a video. I wish I could put it in the chat, but yeah, there is a video that's posted from the Florida Gator locker room. Any Florida fan that is seeing this right now, whether you're watching this live or on replay, what I'm talking about here, if you go on YouTube or Twitter, you'll see exactly what we're talking about. If you're a Gator fan, you may lose your marbles. Yeah, it 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 was not a good look. It was not a good look. So it looks like Lane Kiffin is going to get bailed out by a turnover there by Texas A&M. But yeah, I'm gonna get off that subject there because that is just a bad look, and that's just a bad look. And coaches are getting rewarded for decisions that should be costing them. Uh, Guys, just a quick rundown. I know this is talking SEC, but some games that will likely affect where some teams from the SEC will be slotted in next week's college football playoffs rankings here. Top teams to go down. We know about Oklahoma losing. So I expect to see, especially if Ole Miss is able to hang on, Ole Miss will climb into the top 10. Michigan may get jumped by Michigan State. And honestly, that's not going to matter considering who Michigan State plays next week. Guys, it's going to be a late night for us as soon as we wrap up here, we'll be jumping on with some of our friends out on the West Coast with the Oregon Washington State game. So we'll be on a Zoom call for that for a couple hours. Hopefully, it's not too late into the night. Yep, Jet. That. Yep. So, like I said, Florida fans, if you haven't seen it yet, you would think Florida had just won the SEC championship. So, Jet, spot on as always, man. Spot on as always. This loss definitely will drop Texas A&M. Probably they'll probably be out of the top 20 come next week's poll. Same with Auburn. I can't see Auburn still being ranked after that loss. So the SEC is pretty much going to be down to Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Probably will not be ranked by the College Football Playoff Committee. So you're looking at, to the best of my knowledge here, only 3 SEC schools being ranked. Well, no, 4. I think A&M will hold on to be. Let's see, Alabama. I'm sorry, Georgia, Alabama. Ole Miss will climb up. Man, you'd like to think to see Ole Miss would be in the top 10. A&M will probably fall. Either Arkansas or oh my guys, I just got an alert. The Kansas Jayhawks are up on soon to be Southeastern Conference member Texas 42-35. Oh boy. So we're gonna see a shakeup in the middle of the top 10 here, and it looks like if I had to project the top 5 right now, Georgia stays number 1, Alabama stays number 2. I think Oregon, Ohio State, Cincinnati. Okay, so game over now. Pick 6 by Ole Miss. Close the deal. Pick 6 by Ole Miss to close the deal. So I think the top 5 will remain the same. Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State, Cincinnati as your top 5. We got scores to see how the rest of the top 10 will shake out here. So Ole Miss is going to finish as the number 2 team in the SEC West. They cannot get to the SEC championship game unless Alabama loses both games to Arkansas and Auburn. That that's something there, man. That is something. Jet, you're absolutely right. I was trying to think of a better way to put it, but absolutely bailed out by absolutely bailed out. And okay, they're just putting up the graphic that we just spent a few minutes talking about. So, like I said, Georgia will remain one. Alabama should remain two. Oregon, Ohio State, Cincinnati should be your top five. So that should not be unchanged going into week 12 of the college football season. Um, yeah, Jet. Oregon does play late tonight. Um, like I said, as soon as we wrap up here in the next 20 odd minutes or so, I will be in on kind of one of those video conference calls, and we'll be watching that. I won't be doing the entire game with my guys out there on the West Coast, but um, I'll be doing the first half for sure. So I will be watching that Oregon team very closely. Homegrown Cowboy, have a great night, my friend. Always glad to see you on. And guys, just another quick plug here for my team over at the Crunch Time Sports Advantage Network. We're already getting ready for March Madness. Um, we got a great rate if you're into handicapping college basketball, but don't want to have to watch every single game. I'm going to put in the website in the chat, and please feel free to check that out. You can also check out all of our current football podcasts as well. But as far as what we're getting ready to do, we are all in on college hoops right now, um, trying to find um, the 8 best teams in the country that can win the national championship um, and set ourselves up for a really, really big March. So, like I said, if you're into college hoops or sports betting, definitely check out our website at www.crunchtimesportsadvantage.com. You can also get to that link on Twitter at Crunchtime VIP. So, would definitely love to have you guys a part of what we're doing over there as well. Trying to see if we got any more updates as far as scores going on in the SEC before I turn it over to um, the rest of the crew here on the Mark Rogers um, family channel here. So, like Jet said, Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin are going to get bailed out with some fantastic play by their defense there. But you love a win anytime you can get one, especially when you're playing a conference team. But this is a game that does not lead me to trust Lane Kiffin and that staff there in Oxford whatsoever. I mean, doing the job that we do, we have to be okay, Jet, let me read your questions here. Okay, Jet, I'll see if I can post that question to a couple of guys this week. But I'll say this: if the fans voicing their complaints is over the top, where it's becoming personal, and what do I mean by personal? When you start bringing in anything other than what you're seeing on the field, because from what I can tell, there isn't any off the field issues with this Florida team right now. You're not having guys being suspended for academic reasons or criminal reasons. It's just bad play, and I don't think the criticism is being directed at the players as much as it is being directed at the head coach. Now, I can understand some players wanting to protect their head coach. But honestly, what's being said behind the scenes is far worse than anything that you guys as fans are putting on Twitter right now. Now, I'm not privy to all the conversation, like in the Florida Gator chat. I will be touching base with a couple of people that are. Probably won't do it tomorrow, but Monday, let's just say I will be plugged into a couple of conference calls involving the Florida Gators on Monday. Won't ask any questions, but I'll be watching very carefully. But like I said, I haven't heard any of the comments from Gator fans overly critical of the players. I believe it's just the Florida fans, and you tell me if I'm wrong here. I think it's the Florida Gator fans just being disappointed in the effort of the head coach and not the players. Because I don't think the kids have quit. I said this last year. I thought the LSU players quit. I don't think I've seen evidence of this Florida team quitting. I just don't think they're very well coached. And I, as a former player who have nephews playing football right now, I would not have a problem with fans being critical of what they're seeing on the field. Like I said, as long as it doesn't cross the line, as long as it's not anything that's and you guys know what over the top is. Um, I haven't seen any evidence of that. So I'm gonna post that up here because I think that's a good point. The frustration has been with the athletic director giving Dan Mullen that extension. Um, certainly been at Dan Mullen. I saw a ton of criticism over former defense coordinator Ty Grantham. Did not have a problem with that at all. So I don't see anything that's been directed at the players that's been what I would call overly um, abusive at all. Have not seen evidence of that. So I would say Gator fans, if you really want to get Scott Strickland's attention, that final home game against Florida State, no show it. Because nothing gets an athletic director's attention faster than money. And if that stadium is half empty against Florida State, you lose concessions, you lose parking, you lose all of that additional revenue. And guys, we're not talking pennies here. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. If that stadium is half empty against FSU, Scott Strickland will have no choice but to make a decision. Because think about this: it wasn't until USC started seeing their stands half empty when they said Clay Helton got to go. We don't care about the buyout. We don't care about anything else. Man, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I will guarantee you a nationally televised game versus your third biggest rival, and that stadium is half empty, $12 million will get found real quick. Real quick. Hey, Da Vinci, thanks for posting that in the chat. I was not aware of that. So I'm going to put that up there. Here's the difference, Da Vinci. I would have never let that video got out on Twitter or YouTube or whatever it got posted at. There's no way I would have let that get out. So you can still celebrate in the locker room, but there's no way I let that video get posted. I confiscate cell phones. Um, but no, that's a bad look. That's a bad look. And Dan Mullen didn't need to have a whole lot of bad looks. So if Florida fans want to get Strickland's attention, no show the Florida State game. That will absolutely get everybody's attention in Gainesville. Because to quote the rap group from the 1990s, the Wu Tang Clan, cash rules everything around me. And Jet, I'll share this with you because I go back with Florida with Coach Spurrier when he first got there from Duke. Coach Spurrier, because that was his university, took so much pride in how that team played, how that team was prepared. Um, Guys, I'm on record as saying Coach Spurrier is the third greatest coach in the history of the Southeastern Eastern Conference. Coach Spurrier is only behind Coach Bryant and Coach Saban. So at some point, Dan Mullen has to be held accountable for what's going on at Florida right now. You're talking about two losses to Kentucky in football, 2-8 in his last 10 games against Power Five teams. One of those wins is over Vanderbilt. So Dan Mullen needs to find a way to get this team to a bowl game. Because to not make a bowl game at the University of Florida this year, I can't even imagine how bad that's going to be. And they need to win one of these two last games to get bowl eligible. Okay. So oh God, look, let me I get it as far as the biases goes. Um Coach Bryant, 6 national championships. Spurrier's third. Spurrier's third. But no, I could never put Coach Spurrier ahead of Coach Bryant or Coach Saban. Oh yeah, the swamp was absolutely rocking. So I have nothing but respect for Coach Spurrier. And just to round out my top four, as far as head coaches in the Southeastern Conference, uh, Coach Saban one, Coach Bryant two, Coach Spurrier three, um, and from Ole Miss, Johnny Vaught would be number four. Won a national championship at Ole Miss. So those are my top four. Guys, I got you here for another 5 minutes. So as we get the rundown of the show here, let me get you the latest scores in the games that are still in action here, and just a quick thought here in the final rundown. We talked about it earlier. Kentucky did hold on to get the win, getting their record to 7-3, 5-3 in the SEC. Will finish with the number two spot in the SEC East. Will Levis, 14 for 22, 177, 2 touchdowns. Chris Rodriguez Jr., 16 carries, 114 yards, 1 rushing touchdown. Missouri gets their record to 5-5. Look to get bowl eligible next week with a win over the Florida Gators as they travel to Columbia, getting a home win versus the South Carolina Gamecocks. Tyler Beatty. Oh boy, Florida, get ready for a run game. 34 carries, 209 yards, 1 touchdown on the ground. Missouri running the ball. The world may be coming to an end. The game of the day early on today. Mississippi State down 28-10, come back to beat Auburn 43-34. Will Rogers pulls out the 6-shooter with 6 passing touchdowns, a school record there at Mississippi State, 44 for 55, 415 yards. Way to go, my man. That is getting it done. The game we've been talking about all night long. Win is a win, not a win. When you're the Florida Gators and you have to watch the Samford Bulldogs put up a 50 spot there in the swamp. Florida gets the win 70-52. Dan Mullen, good night. God bless, man. Emory Jones, 28 for 34, 464 yards, 6 touchdowns. But that is not going to be the story come the rest of this weekend. No doubt about it. Alabama, 59-3, spotted the New Mexico State Board Aggies there, a 3-point lead in the half. In the ball game, scored the next 59 points. Bryce Young, 21 for 23, 270 yards, 5 passing touchdowns. Jameson Williams, if there's anybody that has improved their draft stock more than this young man who transferred from Ohio State, you better show me his picture, because 6 receptions, 158 yards, 3 more receiving touchdowns. This kid is making a case to be on the Biletnikoff watch list as the nation's top wide receiver. Bryce Young continuing to put up Heisman-like numbers there for the Crimson Tide. Alabama, from a team standpoint, you know what you have to do to get in the college football playoffs. 3-0, or get ready for a New Year's 6 game at the end of it. Georgia, 41, Tennessee 17. Guys, don't be fooled. That game was not as big of a blowout as the final score indicated. Excuse me. For Georgia, James Cook, 10 carries, 104 yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. LSU, Arkansas, we're going to get bonus football here in Baton Rouge as Ed Orgeron just cannot say goodbye in his final game as the head coach there in Tiger Stadium. That game is going into overtime, tied 13-13. Garrett Nussmeier, 17 for 29, 155 yards, 1 passing touchdown. Guys, one of these 2 quarterbacks will be transferred at the end of the year, whether it's Mac Johnson or Garrett Nussmeier. Depending on who the next coach will be, will decide which quarterback stays and which one goes. Finally, Ole Miss gets a big-time program win, 29-19 over Texas A&M. Lane Kiffin, you got the win. Man, thank your lucky stars on that one because your defense absolutely bailed you out. Guys, on behalf of everyone here at the Voice of College Football and my team at the Crunch Time Sports Advantage Network, it is truly a pleasure to join you each and every week, and can't thank you enough for all of you that participated in the chat tonight. Jet, thank you, my friend. Da Vinci, Homegrown Cowboy, everybody else that watched the show live and participated, thank you. We do this show because you are the best fans in all of college football. Appreciate everything that you do for watching and supporting. Guys, have a great night. And before I do get out of here, because it's Veterans Day weekend, a special thank you to all of the brave men and women who have served our country. As a proud Navy veteran myself, coming from a military family, my late father was in the Army for over 30 years, his brother in the Air Force for over 30 years, and another uncle that served in the Navy for over 30 years. Can't thank everyone enough for the sacrifice that our men and women do, both domestic and abroad. God bless. Have a great night. Enjoy the rest of your college football weekend.